Hello, welcome and sincere pranams to all the viewers of Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, All World Gayatri Parivar and Yogadharma community in Italy. We are absolutely delighted to bring to you this e-forum on peace and non-violence to celebrate the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi Ji. The thoughts of peace and non-violence are more important than ever today. They are also the core modules, the core values behind the tenets of the Indian culture. Gurudev Pandit Shri Ram Sharma Acharya Ji, who also worked up and closely with the father of the nation for India, Mahatma Gandhi Ji, always stressed upon the fact the importance of peace and non-violence in a happy, successful society. Gurudev Pandit Shri Ram Sharma Acharya Ji was also the pioneer of the thought revolution concept, under which he stressed upon the fact that first the person needs to bring peace and non-violence through the concepts of upasana, sadhana, aradhana, chanting, yajna and other philosophies of the Indian culture by practicing these values in one's life, which in Hindi you also used to say that hum badlenge, yug badlega. First we change, then the world change. Through these practices, a permanent and a non-violent change can be seen in the society. Moving ahead, we would also like to convey our sincere gratitude to our partner institution for this e-forum, Yogadharma community in Italy, who are doing a commendable job to spread the light, message and the wisdom of the Vedic way of life there in Italy. We would also like to thank His Holiness Shri Hariji, who is the head of the Yogadharma community. We would also like to thank all the speakers, all the esteemed distinguished dignitaries, experts of the various fields who have taken the pains of sending their messages of peace and non-violence, showing how much is the importance of these values in today's world. A little about the flow of the event. We are going to have esteemed speakers and distinguished guests from all across the globe sending their small messages of peace and non-violence from different parts of the world, and also our most beloved members of the Yogadharma community who will be representing various countries of the globe and doing the chants of the Om Shanti. Indeed, this event is going to be a milestone, a stepping stone in the history of mankind when we would be discussing the importance of these two values and the importance of these actors of peace building, these organizations of peace building who have taken the pains, who have taken the opportunity to address the whole world upon the importance of peace and non-violence on the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi Ji. Without taking much time now, I would like to invite with feelings of gratitude our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Chinmay Pandya Ji to address this gathering and initiate this event. A little about Honorable Dr. Pandya. Dr. Pandya serves as a member, leader and guide to many national and international organizations. Currently, he serves as the Pro Vice Chancellor of Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya. He is a global ambassador of Yoga, Vedic way of life, the Indian culture, peace and non-violence. He represented the Indian government in the intergovernmental meeting at the UNESCO back in 2016, which led to yoga being recognized as the intangible cultural world heritage. Dr. Pandya also serves on the governing council of the Ayush Ministry of the Government of India. Also to mention about, he has given lectures at various universities of the global stage, such as the University of Harvard, University of Cambridge, University of Latvia. He is also the nominated yoga expert of the World Health Organization. Lastly, he is the guide, motivator of millions of youth of the All World Gayatri Parivar and the global community. Now, I would like to request Honorable Dr. Pandya to address this gathering. Followed by him would be our distinguished members of the global community praying for peace.
Good afternoon to everyone, and my respectful pranams from Shanti Kunj Haridwar, which is the headquarter of All World Gayatri Parivar, situated in the valley of the Himalayas and on the bank of Ganga. And I am trying to offer this message to you on a very special occasion that we are jointly conducting along with Yogadharma International from Rome, of Bhai Hari Singh Ji, with whom we have got a very special bond and a very precious friendship. So this is a very special occasion when we are organizing this event on the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, who was a epitome of the peace and harmony all over the world and had a very strong bond with Param Puj Gurudev, Pandit Shri Ram Sharma Acharya Ji. And on this sacred occasion, I would like to start my this brief message with the recitation of the Gayatri Mantra. Those of you who are well aware with the Gayatri, you would know that Gayatri Chanda or Gayatri Mantra is the center of Vedic philosophy. And Gayatri is a mantra which teaches us to walk on the righteous path, the path of wisdom, the path of pure intellect, the path that could be reached with this piece of Vedic mantra. So please sit erect and feel that with the vibration of each syllable of this mantra, the energy of the rising sun, Savita, is passing through our bodies. Gayatri mantra together. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodaya. In the subtle presence of Param Puj Gurudev and Paramandaniya Mataji, first of all, at the outset of this special program, I would like to convey my utmost gratitude and cordial greetings to Bhai Hari Singh Ji and the entire team of the Yogadharma International, which is a very special group. They are dedicated to spread the authentic wisdom of the Vedic scriptures all over the Italy and also in many other European countries. And with Bhai Hari Singh Ji and the entire group of Yogadharma International, where I had the opportunity of visiting last year, we have a very special bond. From last 6 years, if I remember correctly, since he came to Haridwar, since he visited the Shanti Kunj Haridwar, he had cherished a very special connection with Param Puji Gurudev, and we have cherished a very special bond with him. So I feel personally delighted that today, on the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, we are able to arrange this very special program where we are trying to bring the messages of peace and harmony from all over the world. And on such a important occasion, when we are also seeing the congregation of scholars and seekers and seers of world peace from all over the world, I remember a beautiful story that comes in the Upanishads, and the story is of a young scholar called Shwetaketu. He was son of a very great sage, Aruniyuddalak. And the story goes that when Shwetaketu returned home after completing his studies in one of the most famous universities of India, he being an amazingly talented young man, he developed ego, pride, that he was the best of all, and his knowledge was the ultimate and his knowledge was perfect. But his father and Guru was a very wise man, so he realized immediately that he needed to be taught a practical lesson of this world, which is that not to accumulate the knowledge, but to follow the path of wisdom, the path of Gayatri. So he called his son and he asked him that now when you have collected so much information about God, Lord, Divine, have you really seen him? Have you felt his presence anywhere? And Shwetaketu, while he was a knowledgeable young man and he had ego and pride, he had ahankar, he still was an honest young man. He said that you are right. I have memorized all the Vedas, all the Richas, all the Shrutis, all the Smritis. I can cite every single verse about God, but they are only the information. There is no wisdom in it. I have never seen the God. So his father asked him that, so you want to see the divine? And Ketu happily gave his consent, and he said, yeah, I would be so happy to see and feel the divine. So Aruni then got some sugar cubes, and he put the sugar inside the water. Like, this water is here. So he mixed the sugar cubes inside. And then he asked Shwetketu that, where's the sugar now? And Shwetketu said that you mixed in front of me. I know that it is inside, but I can't see it now. So his father said that, how would you know that sugar is inside? And Shwetketu said, I need to taste the water. The sweetness of the water would tell me that sugar is inside. Father said, same is true with the God. He said He is all around us. He's mixed in the air and He's mixed inside the pran. He's outside in the air and He's inside in the pran. We cannot see either of them, but we cannot live without them. So he said that divinity is not about expression, it is about experience. If you want to see the God, then feel Him. Don't rely only on the words. And realizing that divine consciousness is inseparable and we are part of one unified consciousness, Shwetketu famously said, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that divine, which comes as the founding statements of the Upanishad. Tattvamasi, he said, that divine is inside you. Soham, that divine is also inside me. Aham Brahmasmi, Shwetketu said, I am that divine, there is no other. And that message of having one and unified consciousness is the message of Vedic spirituality. Vedas proclaim that we are born divine, and the original sin that we have committed is by believing that I is different than the divine consciousness. And the moment I create a boundary for I, ego, I create a boundary for other. And bigger the I, bigger the ego, bigger things I need to satisfy that ego, whether that is money or relationships or positions or cars. They are there because we want to satisfy this I. And this endless pursuit of satisfying our ego, it then continues. And Vedanta says that that can never be satisfied. You cannot satisfy the fire by placing more ahutis inside. You can only increase it. You can only aggravate it. If I keep fueling it, then with more desires and more desires and more disharmony, then how can I find the integrity within? How can I discover the harmony, the peace, the balance, the equipoise inside? That is why long time ago in Mahopanishad, one of the beautiful scriptures of India, this was said that Ayam Nijah Paroveti Ganana Laguchetasam Udharachartanam to Sudheva Kutumbakam. That Ayam Nijah, this is mine. The Paroveti, that is yours. Ganana Laguchetasam, this kind of feeling belongs to small people. Udharachartanam, those who have understood the scriptures and their heart is big. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the entire world is one single family. And not only in Upanishads, but in all Vedantic texts, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, the three together are called as the Prasthanatrayi. If you remember, the two verses from the second chapter of the Gita, the verse 62nd and 63rd, then I would like to quote them here because they essentially convey the message of the human psychology. Because in that Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying that Dhyayato Vishyalapanksha Sangasteshu Bhajayate Sangas Sanjayate Kamakrodha Bhajayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammaha Sammahad Vitsmati Brahma Smriti Vanshasha Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pradashyate. He says that moment I develop a desire to have something, I have an expectation. When there is an expectation, there is a fear of rejection. Because I would want something, but that thing may not want me. And immediately, Lord Sri Krishna is saying that moment that kind of fear of rejection comes, bewilderment comes. And with the bewilderment, decline comes. Because then I can never satisfy myself. I am now running after an endless pursuit. And what Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Lord Krishna is saying in Gita is so true. Imagine for a second that you do not exist. There is no you, no I, no us. And immediately there are no desires, no expectations, no frustrations and no conflict. when whole world is divine, there is only one existence, then where is the place for struggle and chaos? Where is the place for strife and war? Who is going to fight with whom and why? Then the feeling of Atmot Sarva Bhuteshu that Vedas say, that same divine is everywhere. It takes the precedent. That's why an egoless personality becomes free of conflict, and only a feeling of non-conflict can provide the direction of the peace to the whole world. That is why personalities like Lord Buddha, Mahavir, Acharya Shankar, Param Puja Gurudev, they still stand as beacon of hope for humanity because there is no conflict inside them. They are silent like sea. I remember a beautiful story of Lao Tzu, a famous philosopher, who once told his disciple that I never lost in any war in my life. And his disciple was confused. He said that you are such a tiny man. How come you never lost in a war? And Lao Tzu said, I never lost because I never wanted to win. If you don't want to win, if you are not in the race, then you have found yourself. Then there is no reason to fight. And whole world becomes a stage for peace to appear. And that had been the message in the Vedic scriptures, whether it was in the form of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or in the form of Ayam Nijah Parovedi, or in the form of Gurudev's Ekta, Samata, Shuchita, Mamata. Gurudev said that Ekata, unity, Samata, equality, Shuchita, sacredness, and Mamata, compassion. They are the founding pillars of humanity. And imagine, Gurudev lived such a beautiful life. Like 42 years of his life he was in solitude. Remaining 38 years, he wrote 3,400 books. Imagine that. And then established the entire Gayatri Parivar fraternity with millions of people, thousands of centers. Each and every corner of the world, you will find someone who has heard his name.
Dr. Chinmay Pandya and the whole of the Gayatri Parivar community, Namaste. My name is Louis Franceschi. I'm Senior Director at the Commonwealth, and I'm in charge of governance and peace across the 54 countries, one of them being India. Dr. Pandya, you asked me to deliver a little message to celebrate, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi's birthday. And I do so with a lot of joy in my heart for you, for us, for the whole world. Mahatma Gandhi challenged humanity, not only Asia and not only India, but the whole of humanity, because he challenged himself. He was deeply humane, empathetic, spiritual, and respectful of man and nature. And I have always learned that peace is not just the lack of war, the inactivity of forces. I see peace as the result of war. In the words of Saint Josemaria, peace is a consequence of victory that comes after war. Peace demands of me a continual internal struggle, and without struggle I will never have real peace. And of course, it is that internal war that we fight every day, day in and day out, that actually gives us peace. That true, lasting and harmonious peace. Inner peace that is not the result of external violence, is not an external war, but is that inner war against my own selfishness, indisciplines, avarice, hatred, lust, gluttony, all those vices that create internal conflict that then express themselves externally in our relationships with other fellow men, human beings, and with nature, and that brings conflict. Well, it is precisely that balance, that unity of life between internal and external peace, that somehow brings harmony to our souls, our relationships, our social lives, our social media that is so full of hatred, our society, and of course, ultimately, our environment, and peace with our Maker, God. Well, interior peace is not achieved just by signing treaties between countries. Interior peace is deeply in the heart of man, in the heart of the human being, and we have to be at war with our own bad tendencies so that we destroy somehow them and have that inner peace, and that inner peace reflects itself externally, as we said. Well, in a way, this is the most important lesson I think Gandhi left us. It's not just what he did, but why and how he did it. And that is the most beautiful teaching. All those examples Gandhi left behind because he lived them. That cleanliness he was so attached to was an external manifestation of his inner purity, what he was looking for, what he was trying to achieve. Well, that little great old man who was born 150 years ago was God's rare gift to mankind, to the whole of humanity. And of course, he was a gift to the world we live in and to the country he so madly loved. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It's a great, great pleasure to speak to you about such an incredible little old man who was huge, humongous, a giant in the heart of all of us.
Dear friends from the Sanskriti University, on behalf of the Polish team from the University of Opole, I would like to deliver a short message on peace and harmony on the occasion of the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi. First of all, we are honored and proud to have a long-lasting cooperation with you within many various international projects. An excellent example of our successful collaboration is the UNESCO Chair on Cultural Property Law initiative. That is why I will concentrate on culture and cultural heritage. One of the drivers of peace is culture. What we transmit to the future generations is cultural heritage in its both intangible and tangible dimensions. Cultural heritage can build bridges between communities and plays a pivotal, vital role in sustainable development. Building peace with cultural heritage means promoting cultural diversity, safeguarding cultural heritage, and protecting intangible cultural heritage. Only with mutual respect we can maintain peace and build a bright future. Culture can serve as an anchor that enables us to face all future global challenges. In this respect, the vital quote, "Be the change that you want to see in the world," has a profound meaning. We wish you a happy Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti and greet you from Poland.
Hello everyone, my name is Kate, and I'm really happy and honored to represent a beautiful and small country in Northern Europe, Latvia. Today, on the October 2nd, together with the whole world, I am celebrating the International Day of Nonviolence, as well as the birthday of one of the most remarkable and great personalities, Mahatma Gandhi, who showed us that we can fight for our rights peacefully and without any violence, neither physical nor mental. This year is really challenging for all of us. So we must be especially strong, brave, friendly, and kind-hearted. In this regard, I would like to quote another bright personality, a man who is definitely worth mentioning in the context of the Day of Nonviolence, the founder and father of all-world Gayatri Parivar, Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya, who said that there are only two ways to be happy: to minimize your needs and to harmonize with the circumstances. So be humble, be generous. Don't be afraid to ask for help from people you don't know or to offer it to strangers. Realize the worth and importance of your loved ones. Spend quality time with them. Don't wait for them to ask you to support them. The struggle of this year's reality really differs. So share your love and compassion. And let's from now on forget about violence in all of its dirty forms, from armed violence during some political conflicts and some serious human rights violations, to the racist, sexist, chauvinistic, and other derogatory hate speeches. The future depends on what we do and how we act today. Peace and love, and pranam.
Mahatma Gandhi's relationship to Lithuania. His relationship is very much in contact with the Hermann Kallenbach, who was a German architect and who was one of the foremost friends and associates of Mahatma Gandhi. Kallenbach was introduced to young Mohandas Gandhi while they were both working in South Africa, and after a series of discussions, they developed a long-lasting friendship. Yes, Kallenbach was born in 1871 in today's Lithuania, then Russian Empire, city called Žemaičių Naumiestis, as the third eldest out of 7 children of a German Jewish family. His father, Kalman Leib Kallenbach, was a Hebrew teacher and later a timber merchant. Hermann's childhood centered on education, sports, and friendship with the village youth. He would later study architecture in Stuttgart and Munich. In 1896, he went to South Africa to join his uncles in Johannesburg, where he practiced as an architect and became a South African citizen. A skilled ice skater, swimmer, cyclist, gymnast, and a successful architect, Kallenbach acquired considerable property in South Africa. Yet a major transformation in his life took place after he met Mahatma Gandhi.
Hello, my name is Goda. I came to India for the first time in 2011 to study a little bit IT technologies. That was necessary for me, as for a lecture I work also at Vilnius University teaching gastroenterology. When I landed in India, I felt myself like at home, like I returned home, because the first experience in India, knowing the basics of Ayurveda there, watching people, watching their spiritualism in everyday aspects of their life, really all that inspired me very, very much. After my return to Lithuania, I found a place where I continued my Ayurvedic studies. It was really very helpful to me as to a doctor to understand the world in more holistic way. In 2015, when I was invited to give some lecture on Ayurveda at Latvian University in Riga, I met Dr. Chinmay Pandey, and it was another great experience in my life. I went to Haridwar dsvv University. Every morning I was attending Yaga ceremony at Haridwar University, greeting all elements of our universe, thanking to everything and everybody that is around us. Is very similar to our ancient Lithuanian religion, to understand yourself, to feel yourself very well, at the same time to feel wishes and needs of surrounding, of the plants that are around you, the animals that are around you, and of the people that are around you. This type of connection, it brings inner peace, and I call it harmony.
While Swadeshi and Swaraj are seen as Bharatiya concepts or concepts derived from Indian ethos, they have universal applicability. I hope many companies would like to apply concepts of Swadeshi and Swaraj, as they have positive business as well as societal impacts. This will finally help uplifting societies to become better places to work and live. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sally Alturas. I'm an actress writer, and I want to celebrate with you the 151st anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, the leader of a non-violent resistance to achieve India's independence. In my experience, I know how hard it is to sometimes avoid conflict between different mentalities or cultures, but I also believe that the true will from all parties to create solutions and live in harmony can simplify and transform incompatibilities. It doesn't mean that we should give up our cultures, but share them and make them workable. A fusion between two different things that can become something bigger, and that we might call it balance or love. I also believe that disagreements shouldn't be seen as a problem we get stuck in, but like a challenge that always leads us to the new. Because if we do get stuck, we affect not only our lives, but those of all living beings, including this planet, which is our home right now. So let us all celebrate, have fun, do what we're passionate about, using the harmony that already exists in the universe, and I'm sure we all know it. We just need to remember.
Hallo, mein Name ist Sandra, ich komme aus Deutschland, ich bin Physiotherapeutin und ehemalige Studentin der Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya. Mittlerweile hat mich mein Weg nach Genf geführt, wo ich zurzeit Global Health studiere. Ich fühle mich natürlich sehr geehrt, dass auch ich etwas zu diesem E-Forum beitragen darf, in Gedenken an Mahatma Gandhi zu den Themen Frieden und Gewaltfreiheit. Doch im selben Sinne frage ich mich natürlich, was kann ich eigentlich dazu beitragen? Denn diese Begriffe Frieden und Gewaltfreiheit sind ein Stück weit selbsterklärend und sollten auch selbstverständlich sein. Ich denke, dass die meisten Zuschauer und Teilnehmer dieses E-Forums sich dessen bewusst sind und wahrscheinlich auch eine ähnliche Meinung dazu haben. Doch ich würde eben noch mal gerne betonen, dass es sich nicht nur um die physische Gewaltfreiheit handelt, sondern eben auch um die verbale und um die mentale Gewaltfreiheit. Ebenso, dass Frieden kein Kontinuum ist, sondern dass das einzig Kontinuierliche an Frieden ist, dass wir jeden Tag, jede Stunde, jeden Moment die Entscheidung treffen können, inwiefern wir Frieden leben oder nicht. Und dass es ganz allein unsere Verantwortung ist. Unsere Verantwortung, unseren individuellen Frieden zu finden, doch dass wir uns gleichzeitig dessen bewusst sind, dass Frieden ein Massenphänomen ist und dass sich Frieden erst etabliert, wenn wirklich alle 3 Ebenen darin involviert sind. Das heißt, Frieden auf Ebene der Menschenwelt, aber genauso der Tier- und der Pflanzenwelt. In diesem Sinne, Pranam, vielen Dank für die Einladung und ich freue mich auch schon sehr, die anderen Beiträge zu sehen. Liebe Grüße aus Genf.
We would like to sincerely thank all the speakers of the various global communities and their organizations who have taken the pains to be calling out the global community to build upon the ideas of Mahatma Gandhi Ji, that of peace and non-violence. Moving ahead, we are going to have a very interesting ceremony which focuses upon the concept of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which means the world is nothing but a one large family. Now, our beloved members of the Yogadharma community from Italy are going to offer their peace prayers for many countries across the globe. Let us join them in their prayers of Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Afghanistan.
Om Shanti.
Albania.
Om Shanti.
Algeria.
Om Shanti.
Andorra.
Om Shanti.
Angola.
Om Shanti.
Antigua e Barbuda.
Om Shanti.
Arabia Saudita.
Om Shanti.
Argentina.
Om Shanti.
Armenia.
Om Shanti.
Australia.
Om Shanti.
Austria.
Om Shanti.
Azerbaijan.
Om Shanti.
Bahamas.
Om Shanti.
Bahrain.
Om Shanti.
Bangladesh.
Om Shanti.
Barbados.
Om Shanti.
Belgio.
Om Shanti.
Belize.
Om Shanti.
Benin.
Om Shanti.
Bielorussia.
Om Shanti.
Bolivia.
Om Shanti.
Bosnia e Herzegovina.
Om Shanti.
Botswana.
Om Shanti.
Brasile.
Om Shanti.
Brunei.
Om Shanti.
Bulgaria.
Om Shanti.
Burkina Faso.
Om Shanti.
Burundi.
Om Shanti.
Bhutan.
Om Shanti.
Cambogia.
Om Shanti.
Cameroon.
Om Shanti.
Canada.
Om Shanti.
Capo Verde.
Om Shanti.
Cile.
Om Shanti.
Cina.
Om Shanti.
Cipro.
Om Shanti.
Città del Vaticano.
Om Shanti.
Colombia.
Om Shanti.
Comore.
Om Shanti.
Corea del Nord.
Om Shanti.
Corea del Sud.
Om Shanti.
Costa d'Avorio.
Om Shanti.
Costa Rica.
Om Shanti.
Croazia.
Om Shanti.
Cuba.
Om Shanti.
Danimarca.
Om Shanti.
Dominica.
Om Shanti.
Ecuador.
Om Shanti.
Egitto.
Om Shanti.
El Salvador.
Om Shanti.
Emirati Arabi Uniti.
Om Shanti.
Eritrea.
Om Shanti.
Estonia.
Om Shanti.
Etiopia.
Om Shanti.
Figi.
Om Shanti.
Filippine.
Om Shanti.
Finlandia.
Om Shanti.
Francia.
Om Shanti.
Gabon.
Om Shanti.
Gambia.
Om Shanti.
Georgia.
Om Shanti.
Germania.
Om Shanti.
Ghana.
Om Shanti.
Giamaica.
Om Shanti.
Giappone.
Om Shanti.
Djibouti.
Om Shanti.
Giordania.
Om Shanti.
Grecia.
Om Shanti.
Grenada.
Om Shanti.
Guatemala.
Om Shanti.
Guinea.
Om Shanti.
Guinea-Bissau.
Om Shanti.
Guinea Equatoriale.
Om Shanti.
Guyana.
Om Shanti.
Haiti.
Om Shanti.
Honduras.
Om Shanti.
India.
Om Shanti.
Indonesia.
Om Shanti.
Iran.
Om Shanti.
Iraq.
Om Shanti.
Irlanda.
Om Shanti.
Islanda.
Om Shanti.
Isole di Salomone.
Om Shanti.
Isole Marshall.
Om Shanti.
Israele.
Om Shanti.
Italia.
Om Shanti.
Kazakistan.
Om Shanti.
Kenya.
Om Shanti.
Kyrgyzstan.
Om Shanti.
Kiribati.
Om Shanti.
Kuwait.
Om Shanti.
Laos.
Om Shanti.
Lesotho.
Om Shanti.
Lettonia.
Om Shanti.
Libano.
Om Shanti.
Liberia.
Om Shanti.
Libia.
Om Shanti.
Liechtenstein.
Om Shanti.
Lituania.
Om Shanti.
Lussemburgo.
Om Shanti.
Macedonia.
Om Shanti.
Madagascar.
Om Shanti.
Malawi.
Om Shanti.
Malaysia.
Om Shanti.
Maldive.
Om Shanti.
Bali.
Om Shanti.
Malta.
Om Shanti.
Marocco.
Om Shanti.
Mauritania.
Om Shanti.
Mauritius.
Om Shanti.
Messico.
Om Shanti.
Micronesia.
Om Shanti.
Moldavia.
Om Shanti.
Monaco.
Om Shanti.
Mongolia.
Om Shanti.
Montenegro.
Om Shanti.
Mozambico.
Om Shanti.
Myanmar.
Om Shanti.
Namibia.
Om Shanti.
Nauru.
Om Shanti.
Nicaragua.
Om Shanti.
Niger.
Om Shanti.
Nigeria.
Om Shanti.
Norvegia.
Om Shanti.
Nuova Zelanda.
Om Shanti.
Oman.
Om Shanti.
Paesi Bassi.
Om Shanti.
Pakistan.
Om Shanti.
Palau.
Om Shanti.
Palestina.
Om Shanti.
Panama.
Om Shanti.
Papua Nuova Guinea.
Om Shanti.
Paraguay.
Om Shanti.
Perù.
Om Shanti.
Polonia.
Om Shanti.
Portogallo.
Om Shanti.
Qatar.
Om Shanti.
Regno Unito.
Om Shanti.
Repubblica del Centro Africa.
Om Shanti.
Repubblica Dominicana.
Om Shanti.
Repubblica Ceca.
Om Shanti.
Repubblica del Congo.
Om Shanti.
Repubblica Democratica del Congo.
Om Shanti.
Repubblica Slovacchia.
Om Shanti.
Repubblica Sudafrica.
Om Shanti.
Romania.
Om Shanti.
Ruanda.
Om Shanti.
Russia.
Om Shanti.
St. Kitts and Nevis.
Om Shanti.
Santa Lucia.
Om Shanti.
Saint Vincent Grenadines.
Om Shanti.
Samoa.
Om Shanti.
San Marino.
Om Shanti.
Sao Tomé e Principe.
Om Shanti.
Seychelles.
Om Shanti.
Senegal.
Om Shanti.
Serbia.
Om Shanti.
Sierra Leone.
Om Shanti.
Singapore.
Om Shanti.
Siria.
Om Shanti.
Slovenia.
Om Shanti.
Somalia.
Om Shanti.
Spagna.
Om Shanti.
Sri Lanka.
Om Shanti.
Stati Uniti d'America.
Om Shanti.
Sudan.
Om Shanti.
Sudan del Sud.
Om Shanti.
Suriname.
Om Shanti.
Svezia.
Om Shanti.
Svizzera.
Om Shanti.
Swaziland.
Om Shanti.
Pakistan.
Om Shanti.
Thailandia.
Om Shanti.
Tanzania.
Om Shanti.
Timor-Est.
Om Shanti.
Tibet.
Om Shanti.
Togo.
Om Shanti.
Tonga.
Om Shanti.
Trinidad e Tobago.
Om Shanti.
Tunisia.
Om Shanti.
Turchia.
Om Shanti.
Turkmenistan.
Om Shanti.
Tuvalu.
Om Shanti.
Ucraina.
Om Shanti.
Uganda.
Om Shanti.
Ungheria.
Om Shanti.
Uruguay.
Om Shanti.
Uzbekistan.
Om Shanti.
Vanuatu.
Om Shanti.
Venezuela.
Om Shanti.
Vietnam.
Om Shanti.
Yemen.
Om Shanti.
Zambia.
Om Shanti.
Zimbabwe.
Om Shanti. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth.
Thank you very much for setting exemplary examples of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Many thanks to all our viewers, many thanks to all our distinguished speakers, many thanks to our viewers from the Yogadharma community for taking out time to call upon the world community to embrace, accept universal brotherhood, peace and harmony. You can connect with us on our social media platforms by typing @dsvv official on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can also watch this broadcast again on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel, which is as Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya. Many thanks and we hope to see you again. Take care. Pranam.